Yo, what up, what up, what up? Hey, appreciate it, J Majors. Thank you, Bird. Everybody's looking great. We're gonna show you today how to do a design and a fade with some crazy colors and using the Wahl tools. I'm here with how to fade hair. And we're here today to teach you, show you our techniques that we use with the Wahl tools, all right? So are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
I'm going to start off with the cordless magic clip and the number 2 attachment comb. I'm going to lay the foundation to this fade in. I'm going to get it nice and even, and I'm going to work off the shape of the head. Now I'm going to switch out to my cordless detailer ally, but before I use it, I'm going to use Wahl cleaning clip. This is a 2-minute fast acting hospital grade disinfectant. I'll start off by detailing the back of the mohawk, and then I'll work into creating a guideline for my fade. I will bring the back part of the mohawk into a nice point so you can notice the change in the hand position and watch as I walk the trimmer by using the corner of it, working it around to create the shape of the mohawk. Once the detail work is done, I will turn my trimmer right side up and I will begin to create a soft guide for myself. This approach will help me not to create a harsh line of demarcation and allow me to make my blend more easily. I will work my guide all the way just under the temple area, and then I will remove all the hair below the guide I just created. You can notice how I twisted the band from the mask around the ear so that I can clean around it more efficiently, and it is easy to bend the ear and work around it with my trimmer. By removing the hair with my cordless detailer ally, this sets up for my finale shaver. We will now get the fade skin tight by using the finale shaver. It will be important not to work up too high with this tool because you can create a very harsh line of demarcation. So I will just cut right below where I made my initial guideline with my trimmer. I will once again use my cordless magic clip. I will work up 1 inch from my initial guideline with the clipper in the open position. Now I will take my clipper and adjust it to the in-between open and close position, and I will work that up a 1/2 inch from my initial guideline. As I work this, you can notice how when I get to the round of the head and the haircut itself on the mohawk, I utilize more of the corner of the blade rather than using the whole blade. This will help me as I make my blend. I will now use my clipper in the closed position and work right where I left off with my cordless detailer Ally. This is where my initial guide is at. Keep in mind that it'll also be important to use the corner of the blade with this adjustment as well to avoid making mistakes or lines of demarcation. Once you have went into the open, in between and closed adjustments on your clipper, you may go back and utilize the corner of your blade and use those same open in between closed positions to polish your blend. You can notice from my initial guide when I started that there is some slight demarcation. I will now take my cordless detailer Ally once again and utilize the corners of the blade so I could remove that demarcation. Once the demarcation is fully removed, I am going to use a technique that I like to call half guard blending. I will take the number 1.5 guard and I will take the half guard to complete this blend. I will first start off with the 1.5 guard in the open position. I will work this up into the number 2 where I initially started in the beginning when I laid my foundation in. You can also notice, even with an attachment on my clipper, I am still utilizing the corners of my blade. I will now adjust my clipper to the closed position with the 1.5 attachment on it. I will work this up roughly about a 1/2 inch into the open position with the 1.5 attachment. I will now utilize my half attachment comb in the open position and I will work right on the demarcation that is left. Now remember, to get a nice smooth transition, you're going to want to utilize the corners of your clipper blade. Now I will continue and I will adjust my clipper to the in-between open and closed position with the half attachment and I will continue to work on that line of demarcation. You can see this blend is starting to come together. I will adjust my clipper to the closed position with a half attachment. And keep in mind that I am utilizing the corners of the blades a lot with this technique. But you could see how you can save time by blending using the corners. I have not used the number 1 attachment, so we are actually skipping an attachment. And by skipping this attachment, we are saving ourselves time, and we are gonna make more money, because time in our business is money. I will now blend the shorter clipper work into the longer length on top. I will utilize clipper over comb technique with my cordless detailer LI in the closed position and with my flat top comb.
Yo, that fade, bro. You're killing it. You're killing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you like it.
Man, that fade is blurry. It's time to bless this with a design. So you know what? Get closer, get close. And to make it pop, I'm gonna bring back the sunburst, or aka the reverse fade. Before I get started, I always make sure that my tools are well sanitized with the Wahl Cleaning Clip disinfectant spray. Now, with a comb, I start sectioning the area that I'm gonna start working with. With the corners of my 5-star Wahl Hero, I create my first guideline, starting on the side of the crown, going all the way to the top of the parietal in an arch shape. In every haircut, the starting guideline is essential and is fundamental to how clean and smooth your blend and your haircut flows. Flipping my trimmer, I go down and I create the bald area where my fade is gonna be born from. As I go down, I go out so I don't create any new harsh lines, and I can see where my fade is gonna be distributed to. With the corner of my trimmer, I make sure that I get a very distinguished separation line.
Now it's time to pick up my all gold Wahl 100th anniversary. I disinfect them nicely. I put a 1.5 guard and I get to fade. With the level all the way closed, I create the second guideline. Then I open it up and start fading down. Using the opposite of the wave motion, instead of going in and out, I go from out to in, bringing that reverse fade to life. With the corner of the blade, I get and I clean up all those tight areas that I can't get with the center of the blade. With the 0 guard all the way open, I get to start blending that 0 to the 1 guard. Check it out. Now with the 0 all the way closed, I'm gonna blend from the 0 to the half. And remember, I use the opposite of the wave motion. Instead of going in and out, I'm coming from out to in. The sunburst or reverse fade was created by Arod the barber in 2013. This became one of the hottest haircuts and most trend haircuts around the world in that year. With a number 1 guard, I'ma start blending from the half to the 1.5, smoothing the fade for a better turnout. Since we are doing a lot of steps backwards, we started with the 1 open. Now we're gonna go ahead and adjust it and close it all the way to create that reverse fade. After you get this area all nice and clean, we're gonna go ahead and switch it to the half guard and get a little bit closer to that blend. And before finalizing the fade or the sunburst, we're gonna go ahead and start the design so we know what kind of shading can we do applying the hair length that we have available. Using the corner of the blade, I will start drawing the freestyle design on this hair canvas, similar to a pen or a pencil. And how do I come up with these freestyle designs? First of all, I look at the personality of my client, I look at the head shape, and I look at the style that I want to accomplish on a overall haircut and hairstyle. After creating the first line rough draft, I go back and hit that line one more time very carefully and create a fine, consistent line. Look at this detailing on the top line. After you're done with the first line, from there you decide where you want to go and where you want to take this freestyle design. Remember, there's no limits to what you can do. When it comes to haircuts and freestyle designs, being comfortable plays a major role on the outcome of both. So if you have to tilt your client's head, recline the chair, make sure you do so you can get an easier hand on the design or the haircut. When creating lines, make sure the first one is nice and thin, then you can go ahead later on and create the thickness that you need accordingly. Now I flip my liners to go with the grain and create the right amount of thickness that I need on this side of the design. Take a look. And for the final line, I'm going to place my middle finger and use it as a pivot point for a nicer and a smoother line. Right after that, I'm going to go ahead and create some detailing on the line and at the same time create some thickness. So make sure that all your lines, if you want to get crispy lines, you have to pay attention to detail. A frequent question that I get by barbers is, how much should I charge for designs? And my answer to that is, it depends the complexity of the design and how long it takes you to do it. For example, let's say you can fit 2 clients in 1 hour. Those 2 clients pay you $50 each. That's a total of $100. Now the design takes you a whole hour. So now the valuation of your design, it's no less than 100. Not counting all the little details that this design takes that you can add on top of that, even if it's a portrait or any type of specific design. So now you can apply the same formula to your price list. So now using the same technique, I flip my liners and I start creating some thickness to the design and making it more noticeable. And now with a 1.5, I'm gonna go below the design and I'm gonna even out all that hair. Now with my Wahl cordless detailers LI, I'm gonna start doing the lineup and cleaning up all the area over the ear. This part is very important, not only on this type of haircuts, but on any haircut. When you do a kid's haircut, the first thing you go and see the mom do is check over the ears, behind the ears, and all that area right there. So make sure you spend the right time cleaning up that area, but don't go too high because that's a problem. When doing the arch lineup in the sideburn, make sure you have a nice pivot point where you're resting your hand so you can create a nicer and more sharper arch. With a number 1 guard, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the sideburn area and make a nice little fade from the 1 to the 1.5. Now going to the back neck lineup, this is one of the few places where I use the entire blade to get a straight line. But here I'm gonna use a little bit of the corner of the blade to curve the line and bring it to the V. Now using my Wahl Hero, I will start creating the guideline for a back-sided taper. Now in this back taper, I'm going to use the same fundamentals of fading to create a nice and smooth blend. This back taper is gonna give that curved V a very beautiful pop. Adding a little bit of shading is gonna give that design a nice 3D look. Now with my milli razor, I'm gonna shave against the grain through the entire design to make it look clean and to make it last longer. The technique that I'm using right now, shaving down and out, gives me the ability to blend from skin to zero. In this area, I'm gonna use the backhand technique that is gonna give me the ability to create a nicer and cleaner line going against the grain. The blade holder's balance and exposed razor give me a great amount of stability and precision when it comes to these designs, with the grain or against the grain. Now we're gonna go to color enhancements, and this is gonna be pretty easy since we already laid out the design. First step, I'm gonna do some hairspray on the design, so when I apply the hair enhancements, that is gonna be hair fibers, it can stick to the original hair. In this case, I applied it on the actual lineup, on the design, and also on the first guideline to create a sharper look. As soon as you use the hair enhancements, it's gonna stick to the other hair, so all you gotta do is take your liners and go over it one more time.
Yo, Arod, that looks dope, man. I'm glad you threw back that sunburst fade. Man, that's fire. Alright, I'm ready to start cutting the top. I'm gonna start by saturating the top, and I'm gonna take my Big Mag clipper and I'm gonna begin to cut using clipper over finger technique. I'm gonna elevate the hair in a 90-degree angle. I'm gonna start from the front of the head and work towards the back of the head. As I cut, I'm gonna stop at my second knuckle, but rather than just stopping, I'm actually gonna turn the clipper teeth towards me. This is gonna give me the right amount of tension to create an even blunt cut. Another thing you want to keep in mind is, as you are working cutting section by section, every time I do comb the hair and grab another section, I make sure that I turn my clipper on and off. This will help you avoid any mistakes. I will now detach the standard blade on the Big Mag and attach the all-in-one blade. Now this is a unique blade. This blade is made specifically to add texture to your haircut. With the feather razor adjustment, I'm going to add tension to the hair by pushing it up against the front of the clipper and pulling up. This is going to give me that feather razor texture I'm looking for. So now you can see the magic of the Big Mag and the all-in-one blade, how it creates this beautiful texture in the haircut. I'm gonna go ahead now and style it with product from Wahl's 1919 wet line. I'm gonna use the fiber paste. I'll work the product deep in with my palms, and then I'll finish off by using my fingertips.
Okay, I see you, Nieves, I see you. Now I'm gonna come in clutch with the lineup. And for this part, I'm gonna come in with the Wahl cordless Detailers Li. When doing the front lineup, I always start from the center to the right and then from the center to the left so I can get a better view and get a more accurate straight line. As you can see, I made sure that the front lineup merges into the hair design. Flipping the clipper into a vertical position gives me the ability to create the perfect box. Right after that, I'm gonna be using the corner of the blade to do a nice and defined sideburn arch. Making clean lines, clean fades, and clean hair colors will always put your haircut above the rest. So make sure you spend your time on your haircuts, don't rush it, and make sure that your client leaves happy. Now using my exposed milli blade, I start cleaning up and making sure my lines are nice and crispier than ever. Make sure you go against the grain for a closer shave and a longer lasting lineup. Bam! A little bit of powder to create that volume. Yes, sir. Woo! We
Yes,
killed
sir.
it, brother.
Pleasure working
hey,
with
man,
you.
We did our thing. Appreciate everybody for watching. This is Arod A. Millie with How to Fade Hair. This video is brought to you by Wahlpro, the barber tool leading company since 1919.